A person needs money, and not just needs it, but in a certain amount, which he has determined for himself as necessary, based on various considerations. But the person has no money. Or rather, the very understanding that he needs it and at the same time he has no vision of how to acquire this money, forces him to think that he has no money or very little. Are you one of these people? Or do you know what and how you need to do in order to have money, in the amount you need? If you know everything, then, of course, I have nothing to help you with, since you have already helped yourself. But if not, if you still want to know how to acquire money, then carefully read this article to the end, and you will find out. I assure you, it will be of great benefit to you. So, it follows that you want money, you need money, and you do not know how to acquire it, you do not know how to create it for yourself. It is clear that working hard and long is not an option. It is not always and not for everyone, and especially not in all cases, the best way to get money. Working hard and long, at best, you will ruin your health, at worst, you will like it and you will toil until you fall ill. So, you need to come up with something else. You see, dear friends, when a person works like a horse for money day after day, he can be sent a lot of signals so that he sees the senselessness of such a way of life. Ruined health is the final stage, so that a person stops being able to work, and what else can be done with him if he does not understand? But this is not a disaster, because when a person cannot work, he begins to look for more acceptable ways to earn money, when the only thing he has to work with is his head. But when you get used to work, you start to like this way and it becomes a habit, then it is serious, because your whole life will pass like one moment and your dreams will be lost, your life will become another gray and inexpressive line in the book of life. If you have defined your position, then it goes further, in the question of what you need money, and you want to know what you should do to fulfill your desire. My article is called Attention to Money. Do you think by chance that I will tell you something so interesting here, and the title of the article will remain just a title? No, friends, for anyone, but not for me, there is nothing accidental, and if you were people with a high degree of consciousness, you would be fully satisfied with just one title, because that is what we will talk about. But, first I want to draw your attention to my article, which is called Dependence on Money. You will definitely need to read it. Not now of course, but after reading this article, in order to supplement the knowledge received from this article, because as I already said, I have nothing accidental here. So what about us, or rather you, with attention to money, and in general to all issues related to it? If you do not see the possibility of providing yourself with the amount of money you need, then this attention is either very scattered, or completely absent. When my attention to money was useless, I did not have any. Well, there were some miserable kopecks that I clutched in my hands, hoping to someday stop being so miserable. My hopes were justified, but before that I became more attentive to many things, and in particular to money. Everything is under our noses. We really do have all the answers right under our noses. We can reread a bunch of books and not understand a damn thing. Or we can just take a closer look at something and immediately clarify everything for ourselves. The latter is more effective, although of course you also need to read books, or articles like this, in order to expand the scope of your knowledge. I was often told that money does not deserve the attention of their high-ranking people. Well, it's all disgusting, you understand, we need to pay attention to more important things. I always answered that I completely and entirely agree with this formulation. Of course money is not worthy of our attention when we have it. What is there to consider in it? You are not going to counterfeit it, and not bathe in it like Scrooge. But I did not forget to ask a very unpleasant question about money. At the same time, I asked, do you have a lot of money? Probably, if you can afford not to be interested in it? As it turned out, these people did not have such a nasty and insignificant trifle for the life of a big and small person. But at the same time, they did not eat air, and no one was going to pay for their housing, and they were not going to walk around the world like bowls, with only one bag on their shoulder. And if so, then it turns out that money is needed, in terms of attention, which it requires, and I draw your attention, dear readers, first of all to this: money needs attention. My article, entitled Lack of Money, which you should also read, was written by me in a similar spirit, but in it I describe this issue more narrowly, so that you can focus your attention specifically on the lack of money. This article, in turn, focuses your attention on your attention. I am writing it for this reason, and not to tell you the secrets of alchemy, which I myself do not possess. So the first thing you should see from what is under your nose is the problem with your inattention to money, which you somehow perceive as a means not quite worthy of it. Not greed, but attention, that is what you need. Greed is stupidity, recklessness. From greed people, as is known, are left with nothing, but people who are attentive to money, I must say, feel good, very good. Learn from life. I and other people who have made a killing and now tell you on a full stomach how you can do the same. Yes, well, we can teach you this, and actually we teach you, and why not? Rich people are not greedy. It is only the poor who are stingy with both money and soul and are ready to hang themselves for a penny. At the same time, they consider themselves saints, truly pure-hearted people. Well, what can you expect from them? You can't argue with them about their understanding of themselves and their attitude towards themselves. It is better to give them more work and hold back their salaries, then they will shut up and work more, as befits saints from their point of view. Therefore, let's look at life in a new way, from the point of view of what it shows us, and draw conclusions from this, as befits vile, but very promising people. I know something about how to get money, how to manage it, how to store it, how to increase it. Other people know something, you know something too. All this knowledge needs to be collected together and built from it into a complete picture in order to understand how everything works in this world of money. Learning from life, we learn from each other. To hell with all ideas about yourself as a person who knows everything about life. If you don't have money, then keep your mouth shut, your eyes wide open and your ears sharp. Watch everything that moves and breathes, people. This is your subject of study. With your actions, behavior, way of thinking, they will tell you everything, and life will lead you to this. Read my article called Problems with Money, for a full understanding of my concept, which I adhere to in life. Thus, you will understand that there are no problems with money. We so stupidly identified this problem, to our own detriment. Answer me a simple question: what are you doing? Do you understand the question? You have no money, or let's say you have little of it, which we seem to have decided on at the beginning of the article. You really need it. What are you doing? You need money, and at the same time you do and pay attention to something. Is it connected with money? You do not pay attention to money, but you started to do it, since you are reading this article, and I suppose the essence of the question is clear to you. For example, my son-in-law, well, about 5 years ago, told me that he needed a house, and at the same time he stared at me, like should I tell him about something that he does not know? Well, I said buy it for yourself, what's the problem? Well, he did not have money for a house, that's what he made it clear to me. I had it and I seemed to owe him something, probably, since he approached me with his desire. But I don't give a damn what anyone thinks about their desires, because if you want a house, you buy a house. A person should not have any questions about obstacles, otherwise his desire is false. A friend of mine also spoke about the desire to have money. It was a long time ago, and at the same time, he played computer games from morning till night. Well, can you really believe in the sincerity of his desire? Well, like it would be nice to have something there, but it is not necessary. That's what all these rotten desires are like, because life shows something completely different. A person shows something completely different with his behavior, and what in this case should you trust? His chatter. If you need money, then you give it, and not something else. Your attention, this is the most important thing, your attention. and life will give you all the answers. Everything is under your nose, rich people, poor people, how it should be and how it should not be, you can see everything. Be honest with yourself. For people who understand Russian very well, I could of course use a few strong words to add color to some of my explanations, because as a Russian person I am aware of how we perceive swearing, but being an educated person, I did finish school, so I will refrain from this lexicon. You know the word that means telling a lie, when a person either says one thing and thinks about another, or speaks and does not think at all. Use this term to understand that you cannot say something to yourself, and I will give you an example with my own internal dialogue. Once, when my consciousness began to expand slowly but surely, I began to have an internal dialogue with myself, designed to once and for all dot the I's and cross the T's in the question of what I want, what I need and what I do with all this in mind. Kid, I asked myself, do you need money? And I answered that yes, I do, I really do. And what do you do to have it? Well, I go to work. Kid, I asked myself, do you need a job or money? Money or a job? Well, I need to eat, I answered, and to do that I need to earn something somewhere. And so on and so forth. I think you know all this bleeding, because many mumble similar things under their breath, justifying themselves in their own eyes. In short, such a dialogue is very productive. I still have it with myself, and if before I could have been sent to the loony bin if I had been caught doing this, now no one will do it. I'll sue the hell out of you. Therefore, quietly, so that no one sees, talk to yourself, ask yourself about what you are paying attention to, because if you don't have money, you are paying it to all sorts of crap, and something needs to be done about it. I'll tell you honestly, I'm not a very smart person. In the usual sense of the word, I don't know much. I may see student in many subjects. But I know that if I need money, I don't need knowledge about differentials and the principle of operation of a synchrophasotron. I need knowledge about money. If I need to meet a girl, as I once did when I met my wife, I don't start a conversation with her from the point of view of banal erudition. You understand what I mean. What you need at the moment, that is what you pay attention to first and even second, the rest can wait, because expanding consciousness and giving up the disgusting is more interesting with a full stomach and not in a communal apartment, but in your own home. Be honest with yourself. You can tell others whatever you want. We lead the prosecutor and the priest by the nose. You can't fool your own mind. In my article called Honest Money, I wrote about this concept as a concept that accidentally settled in a person's head and nothing more. This suggests that we need honesty, and not someone else. We have to match someone else's honesty in order to prevent violence against ourselves. But isn't the greatest violence a person commits against himself, plunging himself into his own illusions, thereby defining his own role in this life, huh? Yes, you can sit in a puddle your whole life, inventing beautiful excuses for your own laziness, supported by iron logic. What's the point of that? May the light of truth shine upon you. Only by asking yourself about your attention will it dawn on you one day, and the light of consciousness will pour on you in a warm, enveloping and calming beam. Damn it, how simple it all is. How come I never saw it before and didn't understand it? What an idiot I am. This can happen, because the damn ego, called upon to find justification for all our screw-ups, will disappear completely when we see prospects in the search for our own stupidity. I have money, but there is another person in power in the country. My friends, I am an idiot. Do you understand that? Why? Because there is someone above me, and then there are some kind of Masons or someone like them. They are also kind of above me. I play by their rules, earning their fucking candy wrappers. Who am I after this, if not an idiot? Well, what problems can I have with this conclusion? No problems. And what about you? Do you have problems with who you are, what you need, and what you do with it? Here I want to recommend you to read my article, which is called What to Pay Money For, so that you can see some more recklessness that negatively affects people's lives. You will agree, friends, by means of a letter you can somewhat emotionally color the topic of seemingly banal things, because the meaning of everything I have written here is not about you receiving new information for yourself, but about understanding the old. Together with the works of other people, you can really understand, and not memorize information. Memorization is taught in school and college, and also at work. You do not need to understand, just do as you are told. One more postulate, one less postulate, it doesn't give much, but understanding even the simplest things, that's really useful. Well, you don't pay attention to the issue of money, and you don't have any, so what else is there to discuss? There's nothing to discuss, you need to understand. And don't despise the vile, thereby defending yourself from attacks against you. Other people don't need you. If you're poor, then screw you. People without ambitions are good slaves. You need all this if you feel that it's somehow abnormal when you don't have money, and someone else does. It's somehow not human.